Sabina Khan-Ibarra is a teacher and writer. She is currently working on completing her chapbook, Telling, and her novel, The Poppy Flower. Her poetry, short stories, and short creative nonfictions have been published in various anthologies, including Non-White and Women, Taboos and Transgressions, both published within the past 2 years. She lives in Half Moon Bay, California, with her husband, 2 children, and 2 cats, Twyla and Aslan. Let's give it up.
So my name is Sabina. I'm honored to be here. Thank you everybody for being here and Kevin for putting this together. I'm going to read real quickly. The person who inspired me is somebody that's known in history and not necessarily for their poetry, is Malala of Mewand, and she's who Malala Yousafzai is named after. She is an ancestor, and she lived in Afghanistan. She was a Pashtun. She was a daughter of a shepherd in a village. And in the 1880s, the Mewand was attacked by colonizers, and she fought with her her male relatives against the colonizers. And she actually used her veil as a flag. So I look to her as an inspiration not only for her words, but also what she represents for women of our area. So it's a very short. Lende means short poisonous snake, and so it's very apt. It says, with a drop of my sweetheart's blood, shed in defense of the motherland, I put a beauty spot on my forehead, put to shame the rose in the garden. And then soon after, she was actually martyred, and but she's still remembered and people revered in the area. She's the one I chose. Let's see. And then I'm going to go on to my poems are not as positive and fun as yours, unfortunately. And I feel so. I feel like I'm coming after so many great poets. I feel a lot of pressure. So this poem is based on a photograph that was taken by Steve McCurry in National Geographic of an Afghan girl. The poem's called "The Afghan Girl in the Photograph We've All Seen." She sits still as he pulls her into the frame, the moment contrived and curated. Her green eyes match the stark door of a random house. To an unskilled eye, she's simply caught unaware, curious. A camera targets the light, illuminating the green flames. Contrasting red, she wears a torn sadar, framing her naked face. She stares like unknown moonlight. Spectators adore her innocence. The photographer becomes famous. Later, she recounts her terror of the moment, and poverty ages her before her time. The next poem is called A Cavern of Many Tongues. My grandmothers wrote stories with the black ranjha from their majestic eyes. Inked words washed away, with the 7 seas their children crossed. Salt from the oceans that tear my tongue too dry to speak. English, Pashto, Pashlish, Ingshto, amble inside of me, unable to make the treacherous trek through the desert. War swims between a dying language, whose outfit is tattered from gusts of neglect, but honor and history fortify her core, and a new language, who builds her home, unshakable and lasting. My mouth makes space for new words, a tongue that becomes 2 becomes many. My teeth fall out and the words begin to drown. They gasp for life, the old and the new. My flesh, silent, absorbs the polyphony of expressions. A salve of new vocabulary, I lick my skin, my mouth waters, my belly lurches with vision that become the tales I now impart. Words spill with no container to hold them. I scribe using ranjha for my own eyes, regal as my grandmothers and mothers. Will my stories be read? Will my self be consumed? Will my history be erased? Promises are empty dishes that feed no one. His forefathers, elders of the village, a slice of the earth, his promised inheritance. What more could you want? His father asked. His mother, on her prayer rug, hands cupped towards the sky, prayed for equanimity between the father and son. He dreamed in life colored in adventures past the mountaintops. He wanted cowboy hats and long leather boots, a tongue that held the twang of white. He devoured books, studied hard. Top marks were the only ticket out of his world. His mother lit candles in the dark night, fed him with almonds and warm milk. Her concoction preserved his eyes, nurtured his mind. "Promise me you'll be back," she whispered into his hair. He nodded, his eyes shut with America-colored glaze. So this next one was inspired by events that happened a few years ago between Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh, and at the same exact time. There's an incident that happened in Pakistan where a young girl was raped and murdered. He was the son of a powerful man, and it was difficult to arrest him at first, and eventually was brought to account. Sacrifice, the song for the girl with the name you forget. Ya Qurban, you once had a daughter. When she told you she was scared of his eyes, you told her to cover herself. When she said when he had touched her, you said to be quiet. When she said he hurt her, you beseeched her not to shame you. When she said that he would kill her, you told her to go gently, quietly, Ya Qurban. When she was gone, guilt filled your bones, grief became your flesh, and you wished you had been a mother who lifted her daughter's voice instead of killing it. Ya Qurban. Elder 1. In a village near the river, inside a home with grand turquoise doors and tall walls, by the well in the courtyard, a woman rubs my skin raw to make my hands as fair as my face. She combs knots from my hair, strain on my parents. She covers my head with a sadar. My mother deserved a boy. I think of all the ways I disappoint. Jai too bitter, stride too long, chin too high, tongue too much, mind too big. I must be tamed. Elder. Elder 2. She draws a piece of candy from her pocket. A secret she places in my palm and folds my fingers over the sweet. Don't change. You are a mountain, she breathes. Mountains don't dance for others. They remain as they please. I suck on the hard candy, the syrup coating my tongue, the only proof that the frowning woman staring back was a mountain in hiding.